On Christmas night in 1945, something happened in West Virginia, USA, that still scares and confuses people to this day. A man named George Sauter was celebrating Christmas with his wife, Jenny, and their 10 children. The house was filled with happiness, and everyone was enjoying the holiday. But no one could have imagined that this joyful night would turn into a nightmare, a mystery that remains unsolved even now. Around 1 a.m., a fire suddenly broke out in their home. George and Jenny managed to escape with 4 of their children. However, the 5 children who were sleeping in an upstairs room disappeared forever. No bones or remains were found, and no trace of them was ever discovered. This left everyone wondering, did the children die in the fire, or were they kidnapped? Was the fire an accident, or was it deliberately started? George Sauter was a hard-working Italian immigrant who moved to America with his wife Jenny. George openly opposed the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, which made life unsafe for him in Italy. So, the couple decided to start a new life in the United States, where George started a successful trucking business. The Sauters were well settled, with their own home and 10 happy children. On December 24th, 1945, the Sauter family celebrated Christmas like any other family. The children were excited about their new toys, and the house was filled with joy. That night, 5 of the children went to bed upstairs, while George, Jenny, and the other children stayed downstairs. At around 1 a.m., Jenny noticed the smell of smoke. When she went to check, she saw that the kitchen was on fire. George and Jenny quickly gathered the 4 children near them and ran outside. However, the 5 children upstairs were trapped. George desperately tried to save them. He wanted to use a ladder to climb to the second-floor window, but the ladder was missing. He then tried to start his coal truck to use it as a way to reach the window, but the truck wouldn't start. Neither did the other truck. It was as if everything was working against them. People nearby tried calling the fire department, but there was no response. When the fire brigade finally arrived hours later, the house had burned to the ground. Everyone assumed the 5 children had died in the fire. The next morning, investigators said the children must have burned to death. But the Sauter family couldn't believe this. Human bones don't completely burn even at very high temperatures, such as 800 degrees Celsius. Bones, teeth, and other parts of the body, especially those containing calcium, should have remained. Yet, no remains were found. Forensic experts also confirmed that the fire wasn't long enough or hot enough to completely destroy human bones. This raised questions. If the children didn't die in the fire, where did they go? George and Jenny began to suspect foul play. They remembered some unusual things that happened before and during the fire. George's ladder, which was always kept in the same spot, was missing on the night of the fire. It was later found in a nearby field, far from the house. Both of George's trucks, which had been working fine the day before, suddenly wouldn't start during the fire. When George tried to call the fire department, he realized the phone line was cut. Investigators later confirmed that someone had cut the line from outside the house. Jenny remembered receiving a strange call at around 12:30 a.m., just before the fire started. A woman was laughing loudly on the other end. Jenny told her she had the wrong number and hung up. Jenny also recalled hearing a loud thud on the roof, followed by something rolling. She didn't investigate further and went back to sleep. These strange events made George and Jenny believe that the fire wasn't an accident and their children might have been kidnapped. The Sauters tried to understand who could have done this and why. They remembered that a few months before the fire, an insurance salesman had visited George. When George refused to buy insurance, the man angrily said, "Your house will burn down and your children will pay the price." Another theory involved George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini. Some people believe that the Italian mafia might have targeted him and taken his children as revenge. After the fire, there were several reports of people seeing the Sauter children. A woman claimed she saw the children in a hotel with an unfamiliar couple. Another witness said they saw a car speeding away from the Sauter house on the night of the fire. These reports fueled the belief that the children were alive and had been kidnapped. A year after the fire, new evidence came to light. The original investigation had concluded that the fire was caused by a short circuit in the kitchen. However, further investigation showed this wasn't true. The fire was likely set deliberately. A bus driver passing by the Sada home on the night of the fire reported seeing people throwing fireballs at the house. Months later, a strange object was found near the house. It looked like a pineapple bomb, a type of incendiary device. This could explain the loud noise Jenny heard before the fire. George and Jenny devoted their lives to finding the truth about their children. They put up a billboard with pictures of the missing children and offered a reward for any information. Over the years, they followed every lead, no matter how small. In 1960, 15 years after the fire, Jenny received a letter with a photograph of a man who looked like her son Louis. The letter only said, "Louis Sauter. I love brother Frankie." The family hired a private investigator to look into the letter, but they found no answers. George passed away in 1969, and Jenny died in 1989. The surviving Sauter children continued their search, but eventually had to accept that the mystery might never be solved. The family finally took down the billboard after Jenny's death. Even now, people wonder what really happened that night in 1945. Were the children victims of a terrible accident, or were they part of a larger conspiracy? The truth remains hidden, leaving behind one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to share this video and leave your comments. See you next time in another exciting video.